Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening. I don't know why.
Why not?
But we watched it.
Yes.
Tales from the Dark Side. Came out in 1990. And I apologize. For those of you who don't know, facts before we actually get into your review on it, this was actually supposed to be Creepshow 3. We will be getting the Creepshow. George A. Romero, Stephen King did this. After Creepshow 2 underperformed, they shopped around for another horror anthology series. Tales from the Dark Side, I apologize, became available because Tales from the Crypt came out in 89.
Right.
That's when they started their series, and this came out in 90. So they started an anthology on this. And sadly, this is the only Tales from the Dark Side movie. Which sucks because it's a decent movie.
It was really good, and I really loved it. It had a... Now, you know, they don't know, but they're about to know.
It had Deborah Harry in it.
No, I am a huge Tales from the Crypt fan, and it had that vibe to it.
It did.
And I really liked that about it. And also, Debbie Harry. I'm a huge Blondie fan. That you just discovered last night about me.
Yes, I did.
So, yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I laughed at every murder, which, yeah.
Well, as you said, it does have a Tales from the Crypt feel to it because of the wraparound story that has Deborah Harry and Matthew Lillard. I'm sorry, Matthew Lawrence, not Matthew Lillard, not Shaggy. Matthew Lawrence, and I always thought that was a young Joey Lawrence.
Yeah.
I apologize, this is Joey Lawrence's younger brother.
Yeah.
They are basically doing Hansel and Gretel minus Gretel.
Yes.
George Romero did not want that. He didn't want to wrap around what brings all the stories together, because if you watch Creepshow, these are the stories in a kid's comic book.
Right.
You know, the comics on the ground shows one story, when the story's over, wind blows it, another story, wind blows it, another story. There's not really a wraparound. There is, but it's this.
Yeah.
They wanted a wraparound to bring all these together, so it's a kid who's being held prisoner by someone who's trying to eat him, telling these stories to distract the Deborah Harry, who's
trying to eat him.
She doesn't really have a character arc.
She's having a dinner party.
Right.
And
he's the main course.
Yes. And then what got me was the fact that she was trying to do the math per pound to figure out how long to put him in the oven for, and he sits there and figures out the math for her. Because she goes, I was never good at long division, and he just and she's got a pen and paper, but he just does the math right there, and then she goes, okay, well, I have to get you in the oven at 1 o'clock. Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock, you know, and then he keeps stalling, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
That is the wraparound story.
But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yeah, Debbie Harry! Oh, she looks awesome in that hat. She really rocks that hat. And, then, you know, she's on the phone, and she's talking about a dinner party. I'm like, okay, cool, and I'm envious of the kitchen. Completely envious, and I was like, yo, that fridge is awesome. You didn't see that part?
I've seen this movie half a dozen times.
So do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It has the clear front to it, and I'm like, oh my god, I want that fridge. So, yeah, the kitchen was really nice, and then it pans to the kid in the pantry, and I'm like, what the, what is happening here? So...
Yes, Deborah Harry's the villain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was. She had a Jeep, too.
Okay, just throwing that out
I don't
there.
know.
But the first story, what was it, Lot 462, Lot 482?
Yeah. About the mummy.
It's the one with the mummy and
Yeah.
Christian Slater and Steve Buscemi and Julianne Moore.
Steve Buscemi.
For a little fact about this, because there really isn't much known about, well, there's really not much about this story, is this is Julianne Moore's first movie. That was her first ever big screen.
She was the sister.
She was the sister. She was also in Big Lebowski with Steve Buscemi.
I loved that movie,
and
too. I have seen that movie, believe it or not.
And Christian Slater, Steve Buscemi, and William Hinckley? the old man in the chair, who
Oh,
we found
yeah.
out really isn't as old as he looks in
Dr.
real life.
Finkelstein.
Dr. Finkelstein were all in episodes of Tales from the Dark Side. This TV show. They were all in episodes of it.
Yes, but he, the old guy.
We're not up to that story yet.
No, I know, but he was also in Tales from the Crypt as well.
Yes, he was. The episode Arnold Schwarzenegger did.
Yes.
Yes,
I
I know
like-
that one. I know a lot of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, me too. I
But
watched it every Friday.
We're
with
getting
my
off
mom.
track.
I
Let's
know!
talk about the mummy story. Number.
I
There's
didn't.
a 4 in there somewhere.
I didn't
know.
care for that one very much, but Steve Buscemi.
You didn't?
No, I really didn't because I was like,
It's a quick revenge story.
Yeah,
It's a quick
yeah,
revenge story.
and like,
Now, I wonder, did that story, because we're talking about how Tales from the Crypt seems like it inspired this, there was a mummy episode of Tales from the Crypt
There was.
where a female student brings a mummy back to life
mhm.
to kill her teacher, and it was Anthony Michael Hall, who was the jock that set her up, and it was the principal from Ferris Bueller who played the professor.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Now, do you think this kind of inspired that?
I don't know.
It's a good thing to look up, wouldn't it be?
Yeah,
Let's look it up
and also,
another time.
too, like it did help that I'm a huge Stephen King fan too. So, like, that's
Well, what did you
why
think
I
of the
really-
because the Stephen King one's the next one. But what did you think of the deaths that the mummy did in this one?
Okay, I thought it was awesome that the mummy killed them the same way that they embalmed the mummy. Like he was like he was in a closet fashioning a hanger into a hook,
to go up the nose,
and then
yeah.
he like ripped the brain out. And
That
actually,
was
I
that was
haven't.
actually good. What would you call it? Camera work photography, where it shows the guy in the one room, shows the wall in the hallway that separates the two rooms, and
Yeah.
the mummy's between.
Yeah,
those
and he's
walls,
like, "Yo, I'm
fastening it,
making."
and then it goes
but,
into the other
but
room.
for the mummy to be smart enough to
Yeah.
do that with a coat hanger. But wait, let's go back though because I'm looking at my notes here. I actually have notes. Yeah.
It's-
So
This is gonna be a
so
thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Steve Buscemi was actually going to be the murderer.
He kind of was.
He was. But when he was being all creepy in the hallway, like in
Steve
Steve
Buscemi
Buscemi,
being creepy.
I know, in true Steve
No.
Buscemi form. And then he gets the crowbar when the two guys have their back turned. And I'm like, oh, dude, he's gonna kill them. And no, he didn't. I was kind of surprised. But, yeah, so there was that. And then, I actually wrote lol to the brains in the fruit bowl. Because, like, I did not like that guy. But I know that they make them unlikable because they're gonna die.
Because they're gonna die, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy or the girlfriend. I liked the brother.
Christian-
The brother was cool.
Christian Slater, I forgot when Christian Slater was like real young. He was actually a teen heartthrob. He was a good-looking dude. I remember Christian Slater from like them really bad addictive days where he put almost like he was almost 300 pounds and he was an old man. And you see him now, and he's like always in suits and glasses and everything like that. And it's like, all right, somebody got their crap together and is embracing
Yeah.
the gentleman look.
I was never really into the teen heartthrob.
He played in this the teen heartthrob, but also at the end when he's torturing Steve Buscemi, there's that creepy vibe he has, and he does it really well.
He did do it really well. Like, but I did like him at first. I didn't like his friend, and I didn't
liked him
like
throughout the whole
sister.
thing.
But
When he puts one and one together and he's torturing the guy that killed his sister, and he
Yeah.
even tells him, he goes, "I get him, but you killed my sister,"
yeah.
and that's when he starts like making the fire around.
No,
him.
he actually said you killed my best friend.
And his sister.
And his sister.
I didn't know it was the best friend. No, it was
Yeah.
in and out.
But yeah, when he started reading the scroll that they found, and I was like, oh no, this mummy is gonna like mess their world up hardcore. And then I was just like watching it unfold, and I'm like, okay, this was kind of all predictable, but the murders, the way that the mummy killed them, I was just like, oh, that's genius. Like, because
It was a quick burn through for an anthology movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't slow, kept
No.
a decent pace, told a story, didn't veer off like some anthologies stories, the story isn't long enough, so they add in extra stuff that
Yeah.
goes nowhere. This was like, no.
Oh.
Here's your characters. Here's the mummy. Here's the killing. Here's revenge.
And that taxi was pretty cool. The punk rock
Oh, the punk
taxi
rock
guy.
taxi.
I was like, punk rock taxi, yeah.
80s New York taxi.
That is cool.
Any other notes on this one before we get to?
Brains in a fruit bowl, lol. Oh, and the mummy gave the finger.
Yes.
Because they ripped off all of the fingers except for my favorite finger. I'm not gonna do it. Because, yeah.
YouTube.
But yeah, I was like, Mommy's giving the finger. That's great. But yeah.
On to the next one.
Yeah.
On to the next one, which is totally not inspired by Stephen
No.
King's Cat's Eye at all.
Not at all.
And Stephen King didn't write this at all or have anything to do with this one at all.
I want to call this one Spite Cat because the sister totally kept the cat out of spite.
The whole thing about this was if a elderly man, William Hinckley, who owns a pharmaceutical company, hires a hitman to kill a
The
cat.
cat.
This cat's killed 3 people. 3, not 4, right?
No, it was the sister,
The friend,
and the driver.
Killed 3 people, and you find out through the course of telling the backstory is that the pharmaceutical company over 5 years tested all the products on like 4,000 cats or something like this.
Yep.
So this cat is like the embodiment of their rage or their evil.
Yeah.
It can't be killed,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. So he pays the hitman $100,000 to kill this cat. The hitman is David Johansen, aka Buster Poindexter, from the hit song "Hot, Hot, Hot." Yes.
Yeah, you said that to me
He's-
last night, and it went whoosh right over my head. I was like, okay.
He was in a lot of bands, created the persona of Buster Poindexter, got that hit. Actually doing like a lot of musical stuff still to this day. He's still in a lot of bands. I think best known for his first wife leaving him for Steven Tyler. Yeah. But he plays a
Yeah.
very decent hitman.
Yeah, he really did. And, you know, the only thing that got me was when he was complaining that when the cat went after him, and he goes, "It's $100 shirt," and I'm thinking to myself, man, you just got an envelope of $50,000 thrown at you, dude. Like, you can afford that $100 shirt.
It don't matter. It's a hitman who got hit. That's what the whole thing was.
Yeah.
He got attacked. And, like, every time he tries, the cat's in range. Like, he tries to choke the cat scratches his hand, and he drops the cat.
Yeah.
He tries to hit the cat with poison, and the cat lashes out.
Yeah.
Gets tired. He actually has a scope, the 1980 scopes, where the scopes were this big,
Yep.
while the gun was this big.
Yep.
Has the cat, puts 3 shots in it, and the bullets go right through the cat and hit the TV behind it.
Yep, and the cat doesn't flinch.
The cat
Like,
can't be
cats-
died. It's supernatural.
The cat's like just chilling, eating food,
But
and
then-
then the TV explodes behind him, and the cat's like, yeah, whatever. Food.
But then we get to the part of this story that all the other deaths in this story, the cat trips the sister down the stairs. There's the old myth of the cat taking your breath away
yeah,
while asleep. So the cat basically lays on the lady's face while she's sleeping. The driver takes the cat to the vet. The cat gets out of its cage and basically jumps at the driver, causing the driver to veer into traffic. Then we have this death, which feels totally out of place, which is the cat jumping at him and... Go ahead.
you forgot something. When he knocks the sister down the steps, and we saw what flying through the air.
It wasn't through the air. It was on the step. Was a bowl of cat food. Now, supposedly she was going downstairs to get the cat food.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a mistake and they just kept the cat food on
But
the
the
step
cat food just was
to
like
keep the cat in that scene, like right there.
maybe.
But this death, I don't know if that was a mistake or not. That's why I was like,
We both
tossed up
said the
to
same thing. Are we
about-
supposed to see the cat food going all over the place?
That's why it was a toss-up about worth mentioning. But this death is very over the top. The cat actually jumps at the hitman and then digs, claws its way into his mouth.
Gag factor coming up in 5.
And the cat pokes its head into its mouth, and then the whole body, all the way down to his stomach. The next day, William Hinckley, the old man, shows up. When he shows up, the cat doesn't jump it. Chest bursts its way out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And the old man sees this, can't get to his medication, has a heart attack, and died.
Yeah. But also, for being a rich dude, he had an awful empty fridge. Like, he had, like, bread
Why is
and...
that the stuff you're focusing on?
It was just stuff that I was picking up on.
But I will say, because he's in a wheelchair and he's wheelchairing himself around the mansion telling the backstory. Backstory's always in black and white, so it shows him at the dining room table, and it'll show the sister, like, walk away, and then he'll wheelchair this way, and the whole background will fade to black. It felt very much like a theater or a stage play, this one, and I really like that feel.
Yeah.
And like I said, that one death was very over the top. Now, and George Romero even says he didn't want this to be how the guy died. The studio kind of made him put that gag factor kill in there. And they also, because it was the same studio, did the same thing with another George Romero movie called Monkey Shine, about a quadriplegic man who has a pet monkey that does everything for him. When they go to give him the surgery at the end of the movie on his back to try and give him some feeling and movement, the monkey jumps out of his back. And it's a dream, it's a jump scare, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And George Romero compares the two, and he didn't really like either one. Do I have any other facts about this? No, I have no other facts about this story. William Hinckley's in it. It was 1990. He was 63 years old, but he always looked like he was a guy in his 90s.
Yes, and
look up his Wikipedia. There's a picture of him at 33. The only thing different is his hair is a lighter gray.
I know, he looked it up, and he just shows it to me, and I'm just like...
That's him at 33. He always looked that old, and he died at, I think, 67 years old.
Yeah.
I thought this dude was in his 80s or 90s, because there's not a movie I own where he is not looking that old. He was in Puppet Master a year before this.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be Andre Toulon, the original Andre Toulon, a man in his 80s or 90s, and Nazis coming after him.
Yep.
And here he was only in his 60s.
Mm-hmm. And also, what did I say as soon as I saw him? I'm like, oh my god, it's Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before... Finkelstein, whatever. From
Frankenstein.
From Nightmare Before Christmas. But also, another thing that I noticed and I picked up was every time they focused on his hands taking the pills, did you see the crud under his fingernails?
I think that was I think they did that on purpose.
Oh. Yeah, there was a few gag factors that I had with that one. The cat coming out of his mouth and the filthy fingernails. I was like, oh.
You focus on the weirdest stuff in these movies. But now, story number 3.
Hold on.
Still with the gargoyle.
Yes, I'm just seeing if I had any more notes. Spite Cat. Cat is savage. Yeah, I guess that was it.
Do you want to set up the short plot for number 3, or do you want me to do it?
You're pretty good at it, so.
James Remar is a failing artist in New York City. Shocker. And his agent cuts him loose, so he goes to the bar to get drunk. He and the bartender leave the bar, leaving a friend in there who's drunk off his ass.
Yeah, why did they leave him in there?
He was a regular, and he probably was passed out, not the first time they'd done this. So they leave out the back.
That was Philly. That dude
and
would wake up and rob that bar.
The bartender gets his head taken off by a gargoyle, and James Remar gets his chest slashed by the gargoyle, and the gargoyle pretty much says, forget what you've seen, forget everything about this tonight, and I'll let you live, but you can never tell anyone.
And I'll make everything right for you.
And I'll make everything right for you.
Yeah.
And the gargoyle flies off, he runs off and runs into Radon Chong.
Really pretty, by the way.
Yes, daughter of Tommy Chong, I think. Yes, she is. And they run off to his apartment because he tells her it's not safe and she can call a cab there. And of course, they have sex right away. 'cause it's
Our
two
kids
beautiful
watch
people.
this.
Okay. They have sex right away.
God.
I'm not calling it anything else. And basically, they form a relationship. It's 10 years later. He is now one of the biggest artists because she knew people.
Yep.
His agent got him back. His agent watches the kids. He loves the kids. He loves her.
Yep.
And
they're like happy. They have
yes.
everything they want and need,
And he has kept this secret for 10 years.
Yep.
But on one night on Halloween, because he does love her and does not want her. He doesn't want there to be any secrets between them.
Right.
So he tells her the truth about how his friend died in the bar that night. That there was a creature, and since he's an art artist, he actually made a sculpture of it. She looks at it, she screams at him, saying, "You promised you wouldn't tell anyone," and she was the gargoyle.
I know, and I was like, she was. I put that together like
Almost
not
immediately.
even immediately, and I was like, she's the gargoyle. Oh, he had little gargoyle babies with her.
The kids transformed into gargoyles too. He begs her to transform back, but she can't because he broke the vow. He says he loves her, she says she loves him, and then she rips his throat out because this is how it has to be before flying off with the gargoyle children. It's one of the sadder anthology tales too.
It really
and based
is.
on a Japanese folklore, but in the folklore she wasn't a monster or demon, of course. Us being Americans, we changed that. She was originally a ghost.
Yeah.
He tells her about the ghost he saw. She turns into a ghost. The children become ghosts too, and she doesn't kill him. She takes the children and her to the underworld, afterlife, whatever you want to call it, and he's left there basically dying of a broken heart.
But he accepted his fate.
He
was
did.
just like,
In this,
okay,
he accepted his fate. He
all
broke
right.
his vow. He accepted his fate. And yeah, I like this one the best. I liked this one best.
Yeah,
one,
it was
I like
good.
James Remar.
It was good.
And this is when James Remar had a lot of drug issues in the 80s. That's what got him kicked off of the movie Aliens. This was him getting his stuff back together. And
It was good. It was a good story. It was cute. And, yeah. I mean, I liked it. I did. But I was just like, I figured it out immediately that she was the gargoyle. And I'm just like, oh my god. Oh, this is gonna end bad. She's gonna find something that he drew because he kept trying to draw.
he couldn't get rid of it for 10 years. It was always eating at him in the back of his mind.
Right. So I knew she was gonna find something, or he was gonna say something, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna end bad, and it did. But like I said, I was just he didn't scream no or anything,
He just
and he
accepted
just
it.
said okay, and she gave him everything.
Yep.
Like everything, and it was all because of her.
And he wanted her to have everything too, including no secrets, and that's what destroyed
Well,
this.
Honestly, that's how a relationship should be.
Yep.
So,
Do you want to know a disturbing fact about this?
yes.
Ray Dong Chung is, of course, black.
Yes.
James Remar is white.
Yes.
There were studio executives, producers, everyone basically behind the scenes that wears a suit and tie, that didn't want there to be an
Racial.
Thank you. I almost said
Yes.
international. Interracial relationship on screen.
Yeah.
If you watch and listen to the commentary on the DVD, George Romero didn't know this. George Romero was listening to the other producer tell him this, and he goes, "Oh, really?" And he says, "Are any of those producers in this room?" And that's when you realize there's a lot of other people in this room. He goes, "Because if there are, there's going to be problems." George Romero was a very powerful man.
Look, I think they made
that and, the fact that, in 1990, well, even in Night of the Living Dead, I want to say 62, he made a black man the lead role. George Romero did not give a shoot about skin color, because he was George Romero, and he is a god of horror. He's a horror god.
Yeah.
He's up.
And believe it or not, I have seen Night of the Living Dead.
Wow.
I know.
I guess we'll just have to watch the remake with Tony Todd.
I'm down. But yeah,
There's a lot of mistakes in that, and I will point every one of them out.
I hope you do. So this is going to be one that you're not going to have me watch by myself because I want you.
You only had to
do
watch
that.
the first segment of this by yourself, and then I showed up. But 3 anthologies, the wraparound. Wraparound is the kid pushes the witch in the oven. You know Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
And then eats a cookie.
And he eats a cookie. Now, after all those cookies, would you really want another cookie?
It's a cookie.
No. Sorry. But, like, if something...
I'd want a glass of milk. That's what I'd want.
If you give a mouse a cookie...
I am not a mouse.
If you give a Forrest a cookie, then he'll want a glass of milk.
Probably.
And then he'll want... And that used to be my favorite book as a kid. So... And then...
And now you're messing it up.
When they came up as... if you give him a
wait, did you write anything down for this one?
Not really. Which one?
The one with the gargoyle.
Not really, because it was very... just straight. It was very... like...
It wasn't very long. The movie's only 93 minutes. So you gotta think. 3 stories plus the wraparound. 90 divided by 4. What's that? 20 some odd minutes each.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't have time to slow. They were very...
And it also reminded me a lot of the movie Cat's Eye, too.
The middle story?
Cat's Eye. The one... It's like 3 different stories, but the same cat.
Oh, yeah,
is
well,
like,
that was a Stephen King
yeah,
movie as well.
I know.
And another anthology. And that, like I said, The Cat's Eye kind of influenced the second one in this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure.
Because
I could just be
in
making this
Cat's Eye-
up, but I think Stephen King actually tried to use a similar cat in Cat's Eye in this story. I'm not sure.
I liked the black cat way better because the other one was a tabby, a gray tabby. But I loved Cat's Eye as a kid, and there was a...
That's another anthology I forgot.
Yep,
Cat's Eye.
that's a very good one. I've seen that, believe it or not.
So we're not going to review it?
Yeah. But they also made mention in Cat's Eye about the grouchy mother was like, cats steal your breath while you're sleeping.
That's where that came
and
from.
they said
Yep.
it, you know.
They
in
did that
this,
death in
and
this,
they
yep.
did the death in this one. But, yeah. But the other cat didn't steal her breath. It was the little troll in the wall.
Mhm. Yep.
Yes. So...
Getting off track from this movie for another movie.
You do the same thing.
I
so
did it twice and apologized, so you have to apologize to them for it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. She's sorry. But, that's it. That was the 4. You saw Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, 1990. Look, if you're learning anything from this, you know a Tales from the Crypt movie's coming up eventually. You know. So, hey, Scary Poppins, have you ever seen Tales from the Dark Side? The movie.
Yes, yes, I have.
Alright. That's this. Next pick's coming soon, right?
Very soon.
Very soon. So,
I've got them already picked. And you don't know what they are.
No, I don't.
You only know what one of them is.
Because you couldn't find it.
Yes, exactly. And your plethora of movies. 9,000 movies over there.
4,000. Get it right. I'm not up to 9 yet.
9,000. It looks like 9,000 to me.
It's over 9,000. Yeah. So that's it. That was a non-horror reference. I just want you to know that. That was a Saiyan reference. So that's it for this review. Let us know how we did, because this is the first review we're doing on YouTube.
Yes, yes it is.
Yes. And it's Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Damn, did we miss out from doing the thing. I just want to say that. But, next one's coming. It's your pick, and then back to my pick.
Yes.
Yes. So, like, subscribe, comment. When the picks come
Subscribe!
out, you guys comment what movie to watch, and don't do that thing, well, I like this one, and this one. No! Just title of the movie.
Pick my movie fate.
Not mine. I've seen them already.
Yeah, I know.
My fates.
He just has to
Yeah.
sit here and watch them with me. And
Again,
me go,
and enjoy.
watch me go, wait, I know that person from somewhere. Does that drive you nuts?
think you're the first person to do that to me?
No.
Have you? Well, you never met Mom. Mom was always like, you know that person that was in that movie that time with that thing? I was like, sadly I do, Mom. I know exactly what you're talking about. So, first episode of this? First official. Because there was 2 lead-ups to it.
Oh, this is true.
Yep. So, first official. Thank you guys. Pick her fate. Not my... Oh, God, my fate's coming up soon.
Disney!
Okay, that's the end of the video. Have fun, guys.